Hello everybody, this is Midnight Myra. Welcome back to my scary stories. The story for tonight is The Demon Legion 5, Goliath Nephilim Escapes by Mr. Lightout. In the ancient shadows of the Pacific, a legend stirs, a giant long forgotten, a Nephilim whose name echoes through the ages. Known as Goliath of Ophir, this colossal figure once roamed the lush landscapes of the Philippines, a land rich in gold and mystery, sought after by the great King Solomon himself. With every heavy footfall, Goliath's presence carved stories into the very fabric of history. Lagera, I never imagined I'd be standing here, facing something so ancient, so powerful, and yet so broken. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how we got here. The USS Kitty Hawk groaned beneath the weight of its secrets, its engines rumbling softly as we stood in front of the giant, the Nephilim, whose form towered over us. His blue skin cracked like ancient stone, red hair cascading down his massive shoulders. His six-fingered hands were clenched, almost as if he were waiting for something or someone. If you like stories like this, I do spend long nights making these videos for you. Let me earn your subscription tonight and ring my bell. I will be ringing the bell also when I have new stories for you. Now, back to the story. You are of Ophir, are you not? Goliath's voice rumbled deep and resonant, like thunder. His eyes, ancient and knowing, locked onto Villanueva and me. You are Filipinos, just transients here in the U.S. Navy, mercenaries for hire. Your skills are valuable, yes. But there is more to your story than you know. You are children of Ophir, a land of riches. I am the higher bidder. I can give you everything you seek, gold beyond measure, power like you've never imagined. All you need do is help me break free. I could feel Villanueva's resistance. The weight of his past, his doubts, and fears, it was all there. But me? I was curious. Intrigued by the possibility of unlocking our true heritage. Ophir was no myth, it was the Philippines, a land rich in history and legend. The land we came from. You speak of Ophir as though it were still yours to command, Villanueva said, his voice low but firm. What do you want with us? Goliath's gaze softened, a flicker of something almost human in his eyes. I seek to reclaim what was lost, he rumbled. The treasures of Ophir were stolen from me, from my people. Help me reclaim it, and the gold of the ages shall be yours. You are both of this land, descendants of a glorious past. Do not deny your heritage. Help me, and you will have everything you desire. I could feel the temptation in his words, the lure of power, of wealth. But Villanueva was steadfast. We refuse, he said, shaking his head. We don't trust you, Goliath. Not after everything you've done. Goliath's eyes flashed with an unsettling light. You think this metal cage can hold me? He chuckled darkly. You have no idea what I am capable of. But know this, though this ship is consecrated and blessed by the Almighty, it cannot truly hold me. I cannot escape, but I can destroy this ship from within. In one breath. The Nephilim opened his massive mouth, and in an instant, the air around us seemed to freeze. He raised a hand, and with an unsettling ease, he crashed several planes into the flight deck with a force that shook the very ship. The sound of alarms blared instantly. Fire! 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 The 1MC announcement system screamed. Bells rang, and the chaos erupted as flames consumed the aircraft on the flight deck, Spot 1, Spot 2, and Spot 3. The ship trembled under the weight of the destruction, and we stood there, stunned. This is the power I offer, Goliath said, his voice calm despite the destruction. I have been trapped for too long, but if you help me reclaim Ophir, you will never need to suffer again. The gold, the power, it will be yours. I turned to Villanueva, his face unreadable, torn between the promise of unimaginable power and the responsibility we carried. We were Filipinos, descendants of Ophir, the ancient land of riches and legends. But what would we sacrifice in the process? We will not be swayed by your promises, Villanueva said, his resolve firm. If you try to manipulate us, we will fight. Villanueva and I stood in silence before the ancient giant, the weight of his words heavy in the air. The fire alarm still blared in the background, smoke billowing from the flight deck as if the ship itself was alive, burning with the fury of an ancient power. Goliath's eyes gleamed with anticipation. For a moment, I felt the tug of temptation. We had been mercenaries, traveling from place to place, doing the bidding of others. But Goliath spoke to something deeper, something that stirred in my very blood. The idea of unlocking the treasure of Ophir, of discovering what was lost, was too alluring to ignore. And yet, I saw Villanueva hesitate. "What do you want in exchange?" Villanueva asked, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside. Goliath leaned down, his massive face just inches from Villanueva. "I seek freedom. Help me escape, and I will grant you power beyond your imagination. You will be more than mercenaries. You will be kings. But know this, there is a price to be paid for freedom. There always is." Villanueva stepped back, his eyes filled with doubt, but something in him, something in both of us, was drawn to Goliath's words. He knew this could be the key to unlocking the mysteries of our heritage, of Ophir. But at what cost? Still, he turned to me, his face a mixture of resolve and caution. "We can't trust him," I said quietly. "He's a creature of the past, of darkness. This could be a trap." "Perhaps," Villanueva said, staring at the Nephilim. "But what choice do we have?" I looked at him, unsure of the decision, but deep down, I could feel the pull. Something in me, something tied to the land of Ophir, wanted this, wanted Goliath to be free. "All right," I whispered, "we'll help you. But know this, betray us, and we will fight." Goliath's eyes flickered with what almost seemed like gratitude. "You are wise, Villanueva. You may not trust me, but I will hold true to our agreement." He extended a massive hand toward Villanueva, his fingers as long as my entire body. "Let me into your pocket, and walk with me into the breeze. I will stop the fires, and the ship will be as it was. No harm will come to you, for we have an agreement." Without hesitation, Villanueva stepped forward and placed his hand into Goliath's enormous palm. And in that moment, the ship began to tremble beneath us, as if waking from a long slumber. We began to walk toward the flight deck, but something strange began to happen. Time seemed to slow. The air around us shifted, and everything around us, every sailor, every person, stopped moving. It was as if they were frozen in place, suspended in time. The 1MC system, still blaring the fire alarms, suddenly went quiet, and the ship seemed to breathe in time with us. Villanueva and I continued walking, the deck beneath us feeling lighter with every step. We moved forward while the world behind us went backward. The sailors around us began to walk in reverse, as if rewinding their own actions. The smoke from the fires seemed to roll back into the burning planes on the flight deck, their flames slowly dying out, reversing as though the ship itself was being healed by Goliath's presence. We reached the flight deck, and there, standing at the edge, was Goliath. He raised his head toward the sky, his nostrils flaring as he inhaled the fresh sea breeze. He smiled, a rare expression of contentment that somehow filled me with dread. "I am free," Goliath murmured, his deep voice vibrating through the deck. "The breeze feels like home again. No more chains. No more prison." The ship, once creaking and groaning, now stood silent. The flight deck was calm. No fires. No chaos. Just a perfect, quiet day at sea. Then, Goliath turned to us, his eyes filled with ancient knowledge. I have kept my part of the bargain. You have nothing to fear." He paused, as though savoring his newfound freedom. "But know this, freedom for me means freedom for all my brethren. For we are many, we are legion." Suddenly, the air grew thick with an oppressive energy, and the deck beneath our feet trembled violently. Villanueva and I stumbled as the ship shook, the calm broken by an eruption of unimaginable power. The sky darkened, and from the ship, crawling from every corner, every hatch, and every darkened crevice, came an army of demons. Their twisted forms slithered and clawed their way into the light, their eyes glowing with an unholy fire. I screamed, my voice drowned out by the terrifying roars of the demons emerging from the bowels of the ship. "You tricked us!" I yelled, my throat raw. "You said you would help us. You promised." But Goliath only smiled, his massive form towering above us. "You freed me, Lagera. You freed us all. I am free. And now, we are legion. You cannot stop us." His voice echoed with the weight of ages. The ground shook as more demons emerged, their forms growing darker, their presence suffocating. The ship, once a symbol of strength, was now a breeding ground for the very monsters it was meant to hold at bay. The demons, once trapped below, were now free to roam the world. And it was all because of the choice we had made. I looked at Villanueva, our shared fear mirrored in each other's eyes. "We've made a terrible mistake," I whispered. But it was too late. The world went black. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Be sure to come back for more spine-chilling stories. Are you brave enough to face the unknown? Hit like if you love horror, subscribe for more, and comment. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications, I'll ring it for you too. And if you're into horror that keeps you up at night, check out my books on Amazon, available in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. All from Mr. Lights Out, the master horror fantasy author from the Philippines. We make original stories for some scary fun. Writing and making videos helps me battle my seasonal PTSD, but once you start reading, will you be able to stop? Links in the description below. Big thanks to Lara's Horror Sound on YouTube. Subscribe, will ya? I have more stories coming your way.